Associate how to feel, no, how to associate how to best connect with your prospects in a way that serves them at the highest level and increases your authority, your expertise in the marketplace. Hi, my name is Mario Ficini, and welcome to tonight's episode. We're going to cover Associate, Step 3 of the Expert Authority Effect process, and how it's going to improve your business and make your life better, how to fund your freedom, how to serve your clients at the highest level. We're going to be talking into this microphone right here. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. I see you and you and you and you and you and you and you. Let me know how the audio level is, how the video looks, and I'm going to give you a second to do that while I have a sip of this because I just walked in the door 4 minutes ago. But I'm excited to be here with you because we're covering Step 3. Gotta type it in. If you want a copy of the show notes, you can click that bad boy right there. Did I spell it right? Close enough. Hey, Melissa, how's it going? So I'm going to queue up the show notes right here. We're going to have a fun time as we always do. Here we go. And Step 3, associate. So you need to connect with your prospects, but what does this mean? If you want to tell me what business you're in the chat below, that's fantastic. If you just want to watch and enjoy the show, that's great. Do me a favor, like and share this so I can see you on Facebook and at least say hi. So associate, you need to connect with your prospects. How are you currently doing that? Now, when I ask you how you're doing that, it doesn't necessarily mean, is it with direct mail? Is it with something physical? Is it online? It's probably a lot of all those modalities, but how are you doing it from a serving standpoint? How are you doing it from a heart-centered standpoint? What are you doing? What is the value you're really trying to deliver to them? You know, do you know what your mission is? Do you know who your prospect is? How many ways can you do it? So put in the chat below. I'd love to have you play along. And, thanks for posting, Melissa says. Melissa, you're very welcome. Melissa, you're awesome, and I know you want to help everyone watching. So how do you connect with your prospects? Is it in person mostly? Is it email? Again, I'm sure it's some combination of the above, but what have you found works the best for you? See, and that brings me up to my next point, because I have so many bullet points right here. Everything's great. And, you know, we're going to follow this to a T, because I never deviate from plan. And, you know, because life is like that. Nothing ever goes wrong in life. Totally joking. If this is your first time with me, you'll know I like to have fun while I help people, and I make comments like we all do. Life goes awry very often. In the past. But how do you recover from it? How do you what's the plan? What are you doing it for? So associate. You need to connect with your prospect. Connect. Associate. Bring together into relationship. How do you build that gap? The other night we talked about Step 1, attention. Step 2, increasing your authority so you're seen as the go-to expert in the space. But Step 3 is associate. How do you connect with them? Okay, so you got their attention. They know you're the expert. They're looking for help. But how do you, nice to meet you. How do you bridge that gap? You can't hide behind email. You can't hide behind Messenger. You can't hide behind the camera. You can't hide behind a billboard. Whatever you want. What is a good way to connect with them? I see more and more people. If you want to take a shot at this, put in the chat below what you think is a great way to connect with them, other than in person, because everyone says that, and it is a good one, but there's no leverage to it. What is a great way to connect with them? What are some things you should be looking for initially? I'm going to save this song to our new playlist for next week. This is a good one. Which brings me to the point of when you do your live cast, make sure that you are using royalty-free music, or otherwise Facebook will come up and go and slap you. And they won't let you repost the broadcast, which is stupid, but I get it. Because the whole point of doing things is to can and clone yourself. So that way you don't need to repeat yourself over and over and over and over again like a broken record. Do it right. You know, Dad always said, do it right the first time and you won't have to go back and do it again. So what's the highest, most bestest form of leverage? What is going on? Is that cool? There, hopefully that works. There's a scratch in my neck. I don't know if it's my shirt or this or what, but I gotta stay dressed for this, so I'll bear with it. Okay, Melissa says, obviously it can depend on the prospect. I need an audio check because I'm kind of cranking out over here. I've had an awesome evening. I'm going to lower it a little bit because of common sense, but let me know if that's too loud or anything. Obviously, it's still too loud. Obviously, it can depend on the prospect. I prefer in-person so they can put a face with the name. In-person is also best for reading body language. True story. True story. Phone is great for regular follow-up, and email is a touch point to send relevant information. I agree, Melissa. Melissa, have you considered doing, I know we've talked about this, but have you considered using video? Maybe a live cast, maybe it's not live, but you pre-record it on a screen like that with some lights. You know, instead of sending an information email or a LinkedIn post or Facebook post, maybe it's a pre-made video that has the same information. Have you considered that? 1 for yes, 2 for no. And we got more people joining. Excellent. Aunt Pat, I see you're watching, I do believe. How are you doing? I'm going to save this one too. Live cast, and Melissa says, I've never done it. Excellent. Is it something you're open to right now? What is the #1 question you get asked, Melissa? From like everyone. From everyone. Or at least upwards of 60, 70, 80%. If I were to put 100 people in front of you, what are 60, 70, 80 of them going to be asking you? That's the same. We're going to go with the cold one. Where'd it go? What do you do? That's a great one. And what would your answer be? What do you do is a common one. What do you do? How much does it cost? How long does it take? What do you need from me? I should have a day where everyone puts in all the questions and we can compile them all. And why do they ask? They want to know, and why do they ask? They want to know how and if I am relevant in their business world. You just keep making this easier and easier for me, don't you? So this brings up point #2. Again, if you want to see what I'm looking at for the show notes, check out expertauthorityreport.com. You can get a free copy. And over here, which I'm looking at, it says, think in the mind of your prospect. What is going on with them? So Melissa brings up a good point. She says, they want to know how and if I am relevant to their business. So here's where we started off, and now we're going to go back a bit. This is why, Melissa, first off, are you up for a challenge? Like right now, are you up for a challenge? First off. And if not, Melissa, who is up for a challenge? Because I have an idea. I want to give it to you. I know it will help you. But I want someone that is up for a challenge and is willing to do it. And once you say yes, then I'll tell you what it is. How do you like that? All right, Melissa just disqualified herself. She says, no, I'm not doing video. And then laughed about it. It's not funny. It's a serious matter, Melissa. Do I look like I'm laughing right now? All right, so Melissa doesn't want to play along. Who does? Who does? Y'all read my mind. I remember one time there was like 7 people that all said they'd play along. And they did, and they got rewarded for it. So, think in the mind of your prospect. What's going on with them? They want to know what's in it for me. So, this brings back to the coffee dates that everyone thinks they need to go on. I am not against about doing stuff in person. I think I threw an extra word in there, but that's fine. But you don't need to do it as the only step of the process. Yes, you can connect with them. Yes, you can read body language, but what if they're not qualified or not ready right now? Do you really need to sit down with them just to figure that out? All the prelim information, why not turn it into videos? That's your choice. I'm not persuading you, convincing you, or anything. I know it works. That's why I wrote the books on it, and I like sharing it with you. It's your choice at what you do with it. But if it's not video, what can you do? What can you do? Is there someone else who can do it for you? Maybe it's audio. One of my favorite backups is this little bad boy here. Hi, we're going to talk to you into the microphone right now. And you don't even need to be on video. I know a lot of people that don't like being on video. But you can still speak into a microphone and they can play the CD, MP3, or digitally download the whatever file version AAC Apple has, MP4G. It does not matter. The point is, what can you do to leverage your material in multiple ways to help your prospect better? I don't really care what the format is. I don't care how you do it. It doesn't matter what mic you have. Even if you purposely get the yellow and black one for no other reason than to stay on point with branding. True story. I got another mic in the closet and I bought this one just because of the color. I don't know what the opposite of discrimination is, but that's me. Doesn't matter what color you are. Doesn't matter your background. It matters where you're going in the future. And I'm looking forward to helping you with it. So, point 2 is think in the mind of your prospect. What are they thinking right now? Melissa, not going to make you go on video. Thank you for playing along. But tell me, the questions they're asking you constantly, what is a question that you know they're going to ask that they don't know yet because it's 3-4 questions deep? They might say, what do you do? Are you a good fit? You know the process because you go through it all the time. By the way, did you get that screensaver privacy screen that we were talking about a few months back? And how do you like it? But everyone knows their sales cycle, and maybe the prospect isn't thinking something up front. Maybe they're going to ask it 4 or 5 steps down the road. But throw one of those out there for me. Throw one of those out there for me, and I'll show you what you can do with it. Annette. I believe, Annette, you are here also. Thank you for liking this. And if you're joining for the first time, like I was saying, please comment and play along. You're going to get the most benefit out of it, what you put into it. But if you just want to watch, that's cool too. That's why I like to make it entertaining. Like or share this on your page with your friends, so that way Facebook says you did something and I can see your name. And then I can say hi to you. So when you're thinking in the mind of the prospect, you want to be preempting what they're doing. You want them thinking you have a crystal ball and that you know what you're doing. Hey, Robin, how's it going? Great to have you here. You want them thinking you have a crystal ball, because the truth is you do. If you've ever talked to more than 10, 20, 30 prospects and have more than 5, 10, 20 clients, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll know what I'm talking about. So they might not only ask this question, this one, this one, this one, and this one, but if you want to take it a step further, you'll realize the patterns. That they ask this, not only the same questions, but in the same order. So if you know the order and you know the questions, it's like a puzzle. I love puzzles. I love solving them. Once you have the border built, all you have to do is fill in the pieces. But everyone's different. Personality-wise, but when they're going through your product and service and they're going through your whatever you want to call it, it's all the same. I need a video check on here because there's something that I can live with if you're cool with it. Does the video look clear to you? I don't know how to fix it either way. I guess I'm just asking. Does it look okay? I don't know how to fix it either way. It's on 720. Does it look okay? Oh. It's on 720. Come on, camera auto adjust. I don't know what I'm doing that for. Is it the mic? Camera auto adjust. Anyway, it's fine. Looks fine to me. Okay, if you're cool with it, I can live with it. It actually looks better now. It does. It does look better. Okay, it's now focused on me and not the microphone. Robin, can you tell a difference now? I can. I gotta turn off that stupid auto thing. Good teaching point, though. If you're ever shooting photography, videography, always, always, always put it on manual focus, because crap like that will happen. The lens just adjusted. Yeah. Definitely better, but it looked fine before. Thank you for not making a tiff about it. I think it was bothering me, and I can still go on. But when you're doing a recording, very, very, very something you want to consider, because if you want to put this in an email or put it on LinkedIn or use it for training material later on, it's generally best to shoot with it. Camera, in all transparency, gave me an issue and I adjusted it, blah, 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 whatever. But when you're shooting, make sure it's clear. And if you have the option, get a camera with manual focus and then use it. And know where your subject is standing. Have it zoom in and out of the lens so it's as crisp as it can be. This auto crap, I remember shooting a fashion show years ago. Oh yeah, manual focus rules. I thought, out the corner of my eye, I thought that said Mario focus please. Meaning like get back to the points I was making on the sheet. I was shooting a fashion show and the models were up here. Wait, am I on screen? The models were up here. It came out like this and it came to a diamond at the back. And I had cameras set up. And because I wanted shot down the runway and then as it was coming and everything, but people were walking in the back of the room where the cameras were, and it was like every time someone walked. Now, I realized this beforehand, so I turned it off, but had that been going on, how many times do people walk? I just got back from the show. Great show. Took mom to see Beauty and the Beast. It's awesome. But there were still two. One of them I thought was, the one guy I knew was getting up. The other person I didn't notice until they were almost in front of me. They ran across, and it was at a part where people were running, so I actually thought it was someone from the movie. But besides the point, when people cross the lens like that, and I'm not even going to screw with this one to illustrate the point, because then it'll take another 5 minutes to get it back. But you just don't want the lens. You want to be in control of the lens, not have the lens in control of you. So, moving on, we're talking about preempting the questions and going through the sales cycle. If you know everyone goes into, and I'm not saying everyone in the world is the same. I'm saying your business is similar and people are similar. They have similar habits. There's 4 main personality types. If you can tell someone is outgoing versus more reserved, if they're more gregarious, or if they're a little bit more timid. You can tell those personality types. Check out the book, Wired That Way, by Marita Littauer, Wired That Way. And it talks about that. I'm sure you've heard of the Briggs-Myers test or the ENFTJB, Myers-Briggs, what's the other one? DISC. The personality stuff. There's 4 main personality types. And people are different, but people are very similar. You know, if you're in insurance, if you're in car sales, if you're in roofing, if you're in speaking, it's the same stuff. There's about 60% that we all get. How much is it? How long does it take? How can you help me? How long have you been doing this? Blah, 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 blah. Okay? Then you have your industry-specific stuff, which I know is totally different for you, but I assure you, when I talk to someone in the same field in California, Texas, Idaho, Washington, Florida, and Arkansas, which I have, everyone has the same stuff. It's not that much different. So compile those. Now you know where to start. But here's the fun part. Preempting the future, the crystal ball. How do you read into your prospect's mind? Know what they're going to ask. Know the questions that are important to them. Know the stuff that pulls them on an emotional level. Not, are you looking to save $10 or $100? But how would you like to spend more time with your family this weekend? How would you like to go to 3 extra dinners with your wife a month? How would you like to take an extra vacation that your kids deserve? Now you're pulling on something different. It's no longer just a product or just a service. It's real to them. A great example is the Apple. I'm not endorsing them. I don't even have an iPhone. Android. But they do a fantastic job at getting people rallied around their product or service. They don't say made with aluminum grade titanium, whatever steel. They don't say 88 megapixel camera. They say how to capture your life this weekend. And, you know, there's that one commercial when they had the new camera with, you know, a year ago. And the whole commercial was just people taking pictures on the boat in the canyons and all over the place. And it's like, capture your life. When the iPad came out, it wasn't 22 megabytes of gigahertz, whatever. They said 1,000 songs in your pocket. Do you see the difference? How are you communicating with them? How are you communicating with them? Now, this has been a big thing for me. I'm currently going through and redoing some of mine to make it even better. So right now I help experts turn knowledge into business books that attract clients' money and fund your freedom. A week ago, it said, I help successful CEOs publish books and create video trainings, which is true and accurate. But which one of those two resonates with you more? Do you care if I help you create video trainings and publish a book? Maybe. But if I say I can help you spend more time with your family, kids, fund your freedom, and turn your knowledge into profits, one of those is better. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm still working on it. But I'm at least attempting to dial it in. I'm going in the right direction. I'm not playing with the same game plan I did with 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3, 2, 1, or even 6 months ago, or even 3 months ago. If you never take a look at your marketing messaging, if you never reevaluate what you do, if you think you made business cards one time or a website one time or you're paying someone one time and it's still good, you're probably missing the boat. So I don't have all the answers this second for you. If you want to talk more in detail, we can. All I'm saying is get in the habit of doing more and being more so you can serve more. So that's going to transition into the last point. What are the real concerns? What are they saying? What they are saying is virtually never what they are thinking. Now, someone might say, you know what, let me think about this. I got to talk to my wife. I got to talk to my husband. But the real thing is, you may have not communicated it with them. And that's why associate, step number 3, and it's also chapter 3 in the book. Chapter 3, associate, page 28. This one. Robin, I know you have a copy of this. It was a pleasure meeting you and signing it. It is chapter 28, if you want the in-depth one. I'm going to spin to it right here. Chapter 3, associate. Starting, it's this way, then I got to go this way. Starting your relationship. There's some critical things you need to know in there. You need to connect with them. There's a lot more. If you want all the answers, get the book. But the real concern is what they tell you is what they're not, is virtually never what they're thinking. If you're going, wow, they seem so excited, but then they didn't. It's my first coach told me it's never about the money. Because if someone, think about it. If you have a family member in the hospital, you'll move mountains to figure it out. What's that sense of urgency? What's that, where are you on the priority list? Do you show that what you're offering is that critical? That's why people say, like, the cell phone industry, very, very competitive, but this little baby right here, how many people will go around for 3, 4, 5 months just going, oh, I'll get to them one day? The cell phone is so critical to your everyday life. That's why they have such a good hook on everyone. It's if that thing is not working, if you can't make a call, if you can't make a text, if you can't get your email, what do you do? If you're selling big screen TVs, you have a smaller market, not even necessarily a higher profit margin. But if your big screen TV goes out, do you not eat for a week? Will your house be gone? Will your kids be okay? It's not that big of a deal. Where do you fall on the urgency of getting stuff done as far as your business goes? Are you communicating that with them? Oh, really? Robin says, I'm doing an online training on personality types right now. Robin, are you teaching it or are you attending it? Either way, that is awesome because, like I said, with Wired That Way, when you can identify your prospects easier, another good one that I've read is The 5 Love Languages by Gary Hartman. Five Love Languages. Gary Chapman. There we go. Gary Chapman. So Wired That Way talks about the 4 personality types. The 5 Love Languages talks about they're very common. So you have the personality of the extrovert, the introvert, and then the people that are like task oriented and list oriented, and then you have other people that are the life of the party, and that it deals more with the personality. But how do you resonate with that person? You know, it talks about quality time, physical touch, gifts, words of affirmation, and acts of service. If you're in business, you're constantly doing acts of service. But what if you have a prospect that loves words of affirmation? And you keep sending them gifts. Oh, I don't know why they're not calling us back. I send them gifts every month, every quarter, every year. Maybe it's not their love language. Maybe you should say, hey, really enjoyed working with you on this project. I can't wait to do the next one. You know, it was such a pleasure to work with you. That might mean more to them than getting a box of whatever or a basket of whatever. Yes, Robin, you do have to adapt to their style. And you can't do that unless you know what that style is. Isaac, good to see you. So the 5 love languages: words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, physical touch. You know, it's business. So maybe it's, you know, a handshake. Maybe it's a pat on the shoulder. Maybe it's a embrace. Maybe it's gifts, words of affirmation. Maybe their hot button is quality time. Are all you doing is emailing them? Maybe give them a call. Maybe you crank this up for the in-person meetings for this client because that's what they like. I know people that you'll lose the sale if you want too much in-person time because they don't have it and they don't want to give it to you. They'll be glad to cut you a check and get an email, get a text, get a phone call, but they don't have the time. They're usually the this quadrant person and the CEOs. They're busy. They realize their time is priceless, so they're very protective of it. And I know people that have been trying to close them forever, and it's like, oh, we should get coffee, we should get lunch, we should get this, and it's like, I was interested till you said, hey, we need to do this, this, and this, this, and this in person. It's like, that's 4.5 hours before, you know, we're not even in business together, and you want to take 5 hours of my life this week, this month, just to say the same thing in an email. So depending on who you're going after, you know, to help, you have to know who your prospect is. So step 3, associate. What is the real concern? What are they saying? What they are saying is virtually never what they are thinking. They might say, hey, the proposal looks good. Say, you know, here's one. Oh, sounds good. Send me the proposal. I'll take a look over. That's a polite way of saying you've asked me too many times in person. I'm not really interested, but I will take a look at it. If you can beat me on price, I may consider you, maybe. But in your mind, you might be sitting there going, oh, I got another proposal. They're super interested. He said send it over today. Message miscommunication. You never, ever want to be bartering over price. You want them coming to you to see that you're the go-to expert, and that won't even be a thing. And if it is, you need to cut it out, because I used to do that and I don't anymore, and it's made a big difference. I don't feel bad for telling people no or turning them away. You feel better about your product or service, and they respect you more for it, because so many people are competing on price. Hey, if you want the cheapest person around, I'm not your guy, but I'm going to get you the best result the quickest. If you want to take 6 months with them, have fun. We could have done it 4 times over. You want to get going or not? That's not going to work for most people, but if, you know, I'm not looking for most people. So that's why I can say it, because I also mean it and know I can provide it. Do you have the messaging dialed in that you know who you're talking to, or are you just talking to everyone? There's a big difference. So, I covered that. I'm going to take another sip. And Robin says, price, no. Robin, do elaborate. Is that a question, or is that something you're thinking that, did I hit a hot button with you? Got one done. I found the coolest thing a couple months ago. If you push down on the bottle and let the air out, you can condense it. And then you can fit about 50 or 60s in the trash can instead of like 20. It was right before Christmas. I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world, and I started showing people, and they're like, yeah, we've had plastic bottles for like 20 years. You didn't know that? Hey, I was excited. Leave me alone. Robin, in insurance, price should never be an issue. Robin, in any industry, price should never be an issue. Price should never be an issue. I'm feeling a comma or a but there. Is there more to that you're thinking? In insurance, price should never be an issue, but, or a comma. It feels like there's more. Are you holding something back? Shanae, is that you? Welcome. Robin, quality should always be A1. Absolutely. And would you agree there's nothing more frustrating than delivering A+ service only for the prospect to treat it like it's C or D level service? They don't see the value you actually brought. That was a pet peeve of mine. It really was. Because I always over deliver. I love helping people. It's fun. I've always enjoyed it. But when it's like, oh, we're going to nickel and dime and rent this, they're positioning you here. So even when you try to over deliver, they don't even see it. You're wasting your time, energy, and money, and they didn't even appreciate you in the first place. Absolutely. I'm going to have to put that in there. I was thinking about that. That was off of my brain. I've been taking notes about things, and that seems everyone keeps saying yes to that one. It was the number one reason employees, I got to save this song. It's the number one reason employees quit jobs. It's not for money or mean people. It's lack of appreciation. I wrote down on my thing, I'm excited to work with people that pay me 100% upfront and thank me for the opportunity to work with me. Because I went through about 50 or 60 clients it was like, I don't think they ever said it, and this was years ago, but it was like, I'm bending over backwards to help them, and they're like, oh, sorry, I haven't called you back in 3 weeks for their project they already paid for. It was so stupid. And then, I'm not even going to say the rest of it because that is over and done with as of like 7 years ago. But I just remember, I'll never forget this. Never mind. Whatever. It's in the past. If all they worried about is price, it's probably not good business. If all they worried about is price, it's probably not good business. Can you elaborate on that? I'm not sure how to take that. If all they worried about is price, it's probably not good business. Yeah, do you mean if they don't care about anything but the price? I agree. They're just tire kickers or looking for the cheapest thing. Or my favorite thing is people that just want stuff for free. That's always fun. Well, I'm just comparing you to 17 other people, and whoever has the lowest price, I'm going to use my Groupon with them. Really? Really? I never wanted to be like that. I don't like going to those businesses. I actually actively seek out places you can spend more money because you always do get better service, and there's no competition. When you go pay for VIP seats or VIP line or whatever, there's generally not a lot of people there because they're fighting for the bottom. There's 400 people trying to get the $10 coupon to, get, what is it? It's like a 50% coupon on spend $10 or more, and they're like complaining. I remember one of my clients in the restaurant industry, he was like, I can't, these people, they come in with a 50% off coupon and it says for $10 and more, and they spend $10.59, and if it goes over 11, they start throwing a fit. I go, why didn't you call me first? We could have worked on the ad. It was one of my new customers at the time. He goes, I am firing that company and letting everything go through you. So the next time when he goes, hey, I'm thinking about redoing the menu, what do you think we should do? I go, hold the press, don't do anything, show me what you have. And we put marketing in there that facilitated his bigger goal. Instead of just blanketing everything on there, the menu was a critical piece, the same way your brochure is, or your website is, or your book is. You see, these are just vehicles. You need to have a cohesive plan and know what that is for every step of the way. So then, even when it was going to print, I still told him not to do it. I go, we got to redo this and this. And he was like, sure, whatever you say. And it was awesome. And I'm thinking of him. He's over in Farmington Hills. He's an awesome person, great guy. And he's been with me going on, it's been over 7 years now. It was fall of 2010. So it's been over 7 years. And, or was it 29, 209, 1,000? It was fall of one of those years. And we redid the site, redid a bunch of different things. Part of it was the menu, the consulting, and you have to have the messaging dialed in. Now the printer was getting agitated, and he's like, hey, do you think we could have this? I go, Dennis, is the printer the owner of your business, or are you? Now, I'm not saying be a prick to people, but you have to understand when you hire a web designer, they're not controlling your business. They're the ones building your site. When you hire a printer to do the graphics and a different one for the business cards and something else for Facebook, you have 15 different people giving you input. Did you ever pay for messaging? Did you ever pay for consulting to do it the right way and then reach out to them and go, here's the game plan. Here's the game plan. Here's our game plan that you're going to follow. You're going to be the vendor and service provider. That's who you don't want to be. You want to be the strategic advisor. And I've shifted from that because back in 05, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In 10, 11, and really 12 is when I solidified it. And all the people from early on, I was the one you would call to say, hey, we need this and that. I go, great, we can do it. And that was about it. And as I moved forward, I go, people would ask me for more and more advice. And then someone told me, you should have them pay for consulting because that's the more valuable thing. Most people give that away. And I go, interesting. And it was nerve-wracking. Pay me just to tell you the answers? I don't need to do anything? Now that it's 95.5% of what I do. And we still offer stuff to our personal clients and different things. But what are you giving away? Is it the most important thing or is it the smallest thing? How do people see you? Are they coming to you going, hey, I'm going to call you before I make a move because I don't want to make the wrong one? Or are they thanking you for going through your educational training? Maybe they're confident on their own, but it's because of you. Or are they calling you saying, hey, I need this at noon. And then by 1:30, and you've been on lunch the whole time, they're going, why don't I have this yet? You're not their employee. You're working for them, but you're in control of your business. So Robin says, I get a lot of that. Robin, what do you get a lot of? Oh, that's a quick delay. That's a short delay. You get a lot of what? People with group, I think that was in response to, do you get a lot of people that, go for the bare minimum, then try to use 50% off and they're just nickel and diamond bottom feeding. Give me the cheapest you got. Yeah. So that is absolutely just so for everyone watching, give me the cheapest you got. That is absolutely a communication and messaging thing. And that's what I'm talking about when you associate. It doesn't matter if you're in person, on video, in a book, whatever. It has to do with the messaging and showing the value of not fixing that problem. So if they go, I just want the cheapest you got, that is probably a 1 to 4 priority. I'm doing this just to get it out of the way. Someone in my family or someone said something that I should probably get insurance. So I don't really care. I don't really know anything about it. I don't care. I just want to get a little something was the cheapest you got. That's where they're coming from. Until you can connect with them and say, hey, here's the reasons why and what it means to you. And here's how getting my product is going to not only save you time, energy, but also money. You know, maybe buying your plan isn't going to net an ROI of 9,000% necessarily directly. But when you say, well, think about the time you have here and the stuff you have here, it'll lower this, it'll give you the peace of mind here. When you look at it collectively, insurance is awesome because it gives you blanket protection from everything. You don't need to think about your car. You don't need to think about your house. You don't need to phrase this. You don't need to think about your life. You know, for anyone who doesn't have life insurance, you absolutely should have one personally and also on your business. When you understand that, it's like, holy smokes, I'd be stupid as crap not to do it. But you have to bridge that gap and get them to a point where they're going, hey, you know what? I've been checking out all the material you have, all this stuff. It is so compelling. I'm sure you're busy. What's the soonest opportunity I can even talk with you? Whatever you got, I want that one. How would you like to have people come into you like that, Robin? Is that a little bit different? Same industry, same prospects, similar prospects, different mindsets. And that has to do with the education. So I know we talked to Robin, I'll leave you with this. I know we talked about the webinar training and you're getting the approval and all that good stuff. Do you have the rules? Because you might have a stipulation with doing a live or webinar training, but you might be able to get away with it. Like everything I'm sharing on here, you might be like, I don't even know what I've shared, like 20, 30 different good things. You can break them down one by one and make separate videos. So maybe it's not live, maybe it's not a webinar, maybe it's not a training. In the eyes of your company, the regulatory stuff, maybe it's just a bunch of videos you have on YouTube. If you can break it down and that would work, do 100 of them and direct people to them. Hey, great talking with you. You know, let's set up a time in the next week or two we can talk one-on-one. In the meantime, check this out. Sound familiar? Because now they're going into the meeting warm. It's absolutely better for both of you. It's a disservice not to do it. So Robin says it would be great, but I can't get my counselor license first. I can't do any generality. Okay. So you can't do that yet, but you'll be able to. But just keep thinking of stuff you can do. You know? I know if we were to sit down if you came to one of my workshops for a couple of hours and went through it, I have no doubt there's stuff we can improve for you and stay within the guidelines. I'm not telling you to do anything you're not allowed to, but there's still so much you can do because your product and service is so linear. It's like step one, and then they're going to go, I need home, I need auto, I need life, I need this. And it's just a bunch of yes or no's. You start here. Are you interested? Do you want insurance? Yes, no. Yes. What kind? How much? How many people? You know what I mean? you can template this stuff. And I know everyone's different and you want to talk with them personally, but you can still do that at the beginning, the end, maybe in the middle, but there's still ways that you can modularize this, even if it's behind the scenes. I'm not talking about an online training right now, although I am, but even behind the scenes to systematize it. I know it's all in your head, and I know there's more you could be doing to leverage it. So all I'm saying is think about instead of going, I can't do this because of the licensing, think about how can I do stuff that Mario's talking about to make it more leveraged and systematized despite not being able to do this yet. So I'm going to have more water. We're going to do the countdown shot clock. If you have some questions, I'll take them real quick. And that'll be it. And then tomorrow we'll be talking about step 4, which is advise. And Robin, for you, page 45. And if you want a copy of the show notes, you can simply and easily go to expertauthorityreport.com and read the notes I have right up on the screen over here. Robin says, I have to counsel specific to an individual insurance carrier. That's good. You know the rules. You know. See, I just see it as you know the limitations, so you know what you can and can't do. I remember hearing for classical music, you know, when you hear people go, wow, they blended classical with this new stuff, it's like you need to know that is a big spider right there. But that's fine. His name's Tom. We're going to talk to him later. You need to know the rules so you know how you can bend them. You can't be doing remixes and all this advanced stuff if you don't know the baseline. So the fact you know the baseline, you're a step ahead of the game and you know how you can use it to your advantage. Robin says, I am publishing a fiction book on May 9th. No kidding. That's exciting. What's the topic about? How are you publishing it? Tell me more about that. That's cool. And, oh, Dean Renfro, is that you, my friend? Come here. Come on, Facebook. Dean Renfro is watching in one of the private groups. Dean, if you're here, it's great to see you. How are you doing? I've been checking you out, and it looks like you got some fun stuff doing. We need to connect soon. It looks like you got some fun stuff going on yourself. Great to see you. Oh, I just realized I don't have the light on again. I guess I'll turn it on for the last few minutes. See that? You don't need to have to do everything perfect. You just need to do it on a regular basis, consistently, with a strategy in the right order. Yum. So, any last questions? We're going to do the shot clock. Oh, is it 11:11? Oh, it just turned, literally. Check that out. Today, I'm grateful for spending time with Mom, helping more people, seeing Beauty and the Beast, and having a great rest of the week. Help more people going into May. Robin says, Kindle Direct. Excellent way to do it. You may or may not need to be using Kindle Direct specifically. That is a function within Kindle, a setting, if you will. I was asking, what is the book about? You said a fiction book. And Robin, do you have any other questions before I shut this down? That is really bright. I think subconsciously that's why I had it off. The screen is bright alone, and there's a lot of lights on whenever I do this, and that's why I'm like... But now even with the light on, it's... Where are my sunglasses? Oh, they're in the car. So, last call, here we go. If you want a copy of the show notes, Expert Authority Report. And we're going to be covering Chapter 4, Module 4, tomorrow, which is Advise, which every single one of us does. Robin, excellent, excellent. All right, no more questions. Well, last call, last call, last call. Speak now or forever hold your peace. I know there's no more, but I just wanted to say that like I do all the time. So join me tomorrow. We'll be on the another episode of the show. Thanks for joining. Have a great night, and God bless.